Elagabalus was a transgender Roman empress from the 3rd century CE. She led a very fast-paced and sex-fueled life.
Just like you.
This was a really hard one to research. The ancient texts that were written about her aren't super reliable, and we know that Roman historians wanted to make her ways seem as distasteful as possible, so that Romans wouldn't follow in her stead. So we can't actually be sure if most of these happened, or if they were made up to destroy her image. She definitely existed, and we have other evidence for a few of these stories, but not many. Also, if you do your own research, which we highly recommend, most historians will refer to her using masculine pronouns. Now in a few of these stories, she asked to be referred to as a woman, and has offered doctors a lot of money to give her gender reassignment surgery. For these reasons, we think she was trans and have decided to use female pronouns. But just keep that in mind when you do your own research. She took the throne through a plot devised by her grandmother. In the year 218 CE, and at the age of 14, she occupied one of the most powerful positions in the world. She ruled until she was 18, so 14 to 18 is the age range we're talking about here.
So the most logical and calmest years, at least for me.
Oh yeah, I really had my shit together when I was 14. Before her Roman endeavour, she was a high priestess of Elagabalus. Elagabalus was a sun god from Assyria. This was also where she gets her name, although it was given to her after her death. During her life, she had a lot of names. The Assyrian Varius Antonius, the false Antonius. One of the first things that she did was build a huge temple to Elagabalus. Elagabalus' sacred stone was then moved to this temple. It was kind of a big, cone-shaped black rock. Once a year, this stone was put on a driverless chariot and paraded through the city. Elagabalus would walk backwards in front of it.
Was there a reason for this?
Probably. What really pissed the Romans off was that she placed Elagabalus above Jupiter in the pantheon of gods, and moved most of the sacred artifacts from around Rome into the temple.
That's a power play for sure.
She reportedly had many ceremonies and rituals in this temple. Some of the most iconic included locking up monkeys, lions, and snakes, and feeding them human genitals.
What?
Yeah, she kinda had a thing about dangerous animals. She apparently killed 51 tigers at one of her weddings.
What? No! Genitals are okay, don't touch tigers!
During her 4-year rule, she married 5 times.
That is more than one a year!
Twice to the same woman and once to a man. One of her wives was a Vestal Virgin, which, if you know anything about the Roman world, was a big no-no. This was actually to produce godlike children.
Like actual angels?
Well, the Roman equivalent.
They'd just come out and glow.
Her husband was apparently a very handsome chariot driver. He crashed in a race she was watching and his helmet fell off to reveal his beautiful golden curls.
And is played by Brad Pitt.
She fell in love instantly and had him immediately whisked away to the palace. This is actually one of the stories where her trans identity really shines through. She was always referred to as his wife or mistress, never as husband. Now, their relationship wasn't a common one at all. Elagabalus would often purposefully get caught cheating so her husband would beat her.
So she was a little bit kinky.
Yep, she loved sex. She would even empty out brothels and play the part of the sex workers. She felt a special connection to them. She would give them speeches like a general would their soldiers, and she freed or hired many. She would never travel anywhere without 60 carriages to bring them all along. One time, she found a very well-endowed man. She was always on the lookout for large men.
Damn, well, she knows what she wants.
She would give them powerful positions in the palace depending on the size of their hands? She even opened up the palace baths to the public.
I know where this is going.
So she would get a steady supply of them. But this man, he was something else. He was beautiful and very large.
Hey, large hands are really important.
And the first thing they did was take a bath together. One look and she was excited. Her husband, though, was none too pleased about this and got scared that this new man would replace him. So he did what any irrational and jealous husband would do. He poisoned the man so he couldn't get hard. After a short and rather embarrassing night, the new man was thrown out not only of the palace, but out of Rome itself.
No, poor guy. He didn't do anything wrong.
This probably did save his life, though. Her parties were famous. She used what looks to be the first instance of a whoopee cushion, placing some of her guests on cushions filled with airs which servants would then burst, so the guests would end up underneath the table. Her favourite thing to do was mess with the people who passed out at her parties. She reportedly once filled a room full of flowers, which sounds really pretty and lovely to these sleeping guests, until you realise that it was so many flowers that she suffocated people this way.
At any point did she actually rule?
No, not really. She also released her animals into the room, so her guests would wake up to lions or bears or leopards sleeping next to them.
Oh, that is not what you want to wake up to, especially when hungover.
They were apparently harmless, but they still killed people. I imagine this just means they were defanged and declawed.
But they're still dangerous. They can still gum you to death.
She once got a prophecy that she would die a violent death. So she built a cord made out of scarlet and purple silk, swords made out of gold, and a really high tower gilded with gold and jewels, so that even if her death was violent, it would also be luxurious and unique. In the end, her death was violent, but not luxurious. Her and her mother were assassinated on a trip to the Praetorians' camp. Her head was separated from her body, and her corpse dragged around the city before being thrown into the river.
I mean, at least the prophecy was correct.
Yeah, but she didn't get to use any of her fancy gear.